Welcome to Security Nation, an ESA podcast that brings you the voice of electronic security and life safety. We bring on security pros to discuss the latest industry happenings, new technology, and best practices, telling your story to become the ever-present voice in an ever-changing industry. I'd like to introduce this episode's guest. We have Merlin Guilbeau, CEO of the Electronic Security Association. Thanks for coming on the podcast today, Merlin.
Anna, you are quite welcome. And let me just say you're doing a fabulous job with these podcasts. I really enjoyed listening to your guest and gaining insight from just a huge, vast perspective of our community and the industry. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting this podcast, meeting all these different security pros and hearing their stories and their insights that they've been able to share. It's been awesome, and I can't wait to see who we'll have come on for the rest of this new year that we're in.
Good.
Awesome. So with it being, the beginning of 2023, I thought it would be good to have you come on the podcast, new year, and kind of wanted to hear your reflections as CEO of ESA on 2022. What do you think are some of ESA's wins, and where are some areas that you hope that we can improve on going into this new year?
Yeah, it's hard to believe 2022 is already in the rearview mirror, but I have to say that it was a far better year than 2020, and even better than 2021. So several wins for us this last year. One of them being the relaunch of ESX. With the pandemic, we canceled ESX in 2020, and then we launched a virtual version of it in 2021. And if you've ever experienced ESX or attended, you know that the value in ESX is the networking, the educational content, and just getting together with colleagues and peers, not only in an educational setting and on an expo floor, but also in a social environment. And you just miss that when it's virtual. So the team did a fantastic job of the relaunch for ESX, and we're excited to move on to 23 and see what Louisville has in store for us. I think another significant area is just the growth that we saw in our training numbers in 2022. We held pretty strong in 21, but we've seen a significant growth over 2021 this last year, and so that was exciting to see, and see where we go from there in 2023. The growth in membership. The pandemic was a challenging time, certainly from a renewal standpoint, and we wanted to make sure we get back on track with our membership growth, and we saw good growth in 2022. And then lastly, I would say, just reflecting on 2022, is the growth that I've got to witness within our professional staff, adding new team members, filling vacant slots, and then team members that have been on staff for a number of years, just all coming together and growing as a unit and working cohesively. So that was exciting for 2022 as well.
Awesome. All good stuff. I mean, ESX 2022 was actually, I think it was my first ESX, and I remember feeling like it felt like a big family reunion. Like everyone there, so many positive comments, and you're right, it was so great to come back after everything being virtual for what felt, I mean, it was about 2 years, right? It felt great to finally have everyone come together in person again, and I can't wait for 2023 ESX as well. Do you foresee any industry trends coming into this new year?
I mean, there's a lot of trends happening. Technology is moving at a rapid pace. We all know that. The trends change from year to year. I'll start out by saying something maybe I'm not hearing as much about as we did maybe a few years ago, and that's DIY. And it's not that DIY is gone away. I think our members have just learned how to compete with it, and in some cases have embraced it and have used it as a model, maybe for delivering products to members, but also as a way to gain access to consumers who are struggling, trying to get those DIY products installed, whether it be smart devices or other aspects of it. In terms of trends, workforce, unfortunately, is going to continue to be a challenge.
Yeah.
The impact that our companies and members are seeing from the workforce have can significantly hinder their growth. And so that is a big topic on our radar for 2023 and frankly for the next several years. We're seeing a workforce in our industry that's starting to age, right? We're starting to see and hear about more and more longtime security professionals retiring, which raises concerns. And how do you replace that talent, that institutional knowledge? So workforce development, trying to really encourage young people to consider this industry as a career is going to be top of mind. The economy is going to continue to be a challenge for not only our members, but frankly for our country.
Yes.
We'll continue to see ebbs and flows in the economic conditions as we get into 2023. And in some cases, it may even drive some of our members to reevaluate and change their business model in some aspects. Artificial intelligence, we'll continue to see that technology really advance and become more prevalent. Cybersecurity is also always a trend, and how physical security and cybersecurity are coming together, especially in commercial environments, is really important for our members to dig into. I'm hearing more and more requirements coming out of the federal government. If you're doing federal contractor work, there's going to be requirements coming out in the future, as far out as 2025, where any federal contractor is going to have to get certified as it relates to cybersecurity and the steps that they take to protect data within their own company. The ethical use of our customers' data and data privacy will continue to be a trend that we see impacting our members. I think the boundaries of our industry are changing as we begin to embrace more products and smart devices that reside on networks and don't necessarily need to be housed or ran by a main control unit, but are devices out on the edge that can live and operate on their own. Then we're going to continue to see more companies that aren't traditional security companies coming into our space. So I think the boundaries of our industry are going to continue to broaden and expand. And just supply chain issues, right? And how do we deal with that from a manufacturing standpoint? The manufacturers we partner with, our members partner with, I should say, are going to be extremely important in making sure that we can continue to provide that they can continue to provide the products and services that our members need to install and meet the consumer's demands are going to be extremely important. So those, I know that's pretty broad and a lot to consider, but those are some of the trends that we're just keeping an eye on and think will affect us in 2023.
Yeah, and as you were listing all of those, my mind went to our executive management professionals groups and why I think they're so beneficial, because it's bringing other industry security pros into small groups so that they can collaborate on all of these issues and have an agenda or a point of their meeting, like, hey, how are you guys dealing with this workforce issue? How are you getting young talent, into your company and reinvigorating that life force? How are you dealing with the supply chain issue? We're really struggling getting X, Y, or Z. There's always going to be a new challenge that we're facing as an industry, or like you said, as a nation. And I think that's where the networking, that really helps. So then you're not having to figure out all these new incoming issues on your own as an individual.
Great point. And that's so true. That's the value of a trade association. One of the values that we bring to our members is you don't have to face these challenges alone.
Right.
And specifically with ESA, we have the executive management professional group. So it's a small community of executives within the association that meet on a regular basis. And there's a national group, which is the large group, but then we break those individuals up into small groups, 6 to 7 to 8 individuals that meet on a monthly basis. And I'll share an example. I just saw an email before coming on this podcast from one of the groups where training was an issue for one of the members in the group. And right away, another group member said, oh my gosh, if you're not looking at and utilizing ESA's training as a service program, which allows you to customize your training to specifically to the needs of your technicians, you really need to take a look at that. So to your point, the EMP group is a fabulous way to network, learn from each other, share best practices, and it can be lonely at the top as a leader, right?
Yep.
And sometimes you feel like you're the only one, you have no one that you can share your issues with within your team. So having a voice or an ear that you can bend is pretty important, and the EMP group provides that.
Yeah, it's a great resource. I am sometimes a fly on the wall in some of those meetings, and I don't know, it's always great to hear the stuff that they bring to the table and the collaboration that occurs. To shift gears just a little bit, because there's so many things I want to pick your brain about while I have you. So we're going into ESA's 75th year. I think this February is officially its birthday. And I believe we're calling it ESA's Diamond Jubilee, kind of fancy term that we've phrased for it. So it's really exciting. How do you feel about leading ESA into its Diamond Jubilee 75th year? Well,
First off, it's an honor, right? Because any organization that has survived as long as ESA has, there's something to be said about that, and to be able to be a part of that is truly an honor. And I think back and reflect on individuals who have been in my position over the years. I have the goodwill and fortune to be able to talk to some of those individuals on occasion. Stan Martin being one of those who served as executive director of NBFA many years ago. I was also fortunate to be around when we turned 60 and celebrated. It was actually the original or the first ESX, where we celebrated our 60th anniversary. So, as I think about it, it's really an honor, and I'm excited to see what this year has to offer and how we can celebrate the anniversary of our organization.
Same here. Why do you think ESA has been able to accomplish the longevity that it has?
In short, I think it's passionate volunteers. I don't think there's a trade association out there that can survive without volunteers who are passionate, not only about giving back to an industry that has provided a livelihood for them, but also in particular giving back to an industry like ours, right? Because of the things that we do and the mission that our members have of protecting life and property. So it really boils down, and if you think about where it all started with Ben Call in I guess it would have been 47 or so, probably is where he began to drive around the country and trying to gain momentum from other alarm dealers and security professionals in the industry and bring them together to say, hey, we need to create a trade association for the security industry. And in 1948, that's when it happened. And so if you think about that one individual who had such a passion for the industry that he was willing to drive around the country in 1947, and this is right after World War II.
Yeah.
And he's in a car driving around the country trying to gain momentum from other dealers. And he met with people like Morris F. Weinstock, who said, absolutely, I'm in. And Norm Rubin, count me in. And those are the founding fathers of our association, and really put the industry on a path for success, I think, which is what we're experiencing today.
Oh, that's fantastic. So with it being the 75th year, is there anything special on the horizon for ESA? Any changes that our members can expect to see in its 75th year?
Yeah, there is, and we're so fortunate. As I spoke about passionate volunteers, one of those volunteers is our current chairman, John Loud, and I've had the honor and pleasure of working with a lot of presidents and chairmen over the years that I've been with ESA, and they all brought a passion to the role. But if you know John Loud, John has this innate ability to take it to another level. I mean, his enthusiasm and his passion when he commits to something is a sight to be seen, really. So we're excited to have him on board during our 75th anniversary. And he came up with a concept, and I think is just an excellent way to celebrate ESA and the accomplishments ESA has made over the years, and to celebrate the 75th anniversary by engaging more people to participate in ESA. Mm-hmm. And so his concept was, let's create a membership campaign that encourages people to get involved and volunteer their time to go out and convey the message of what ESA is doing on behalf of the industry to those who may not be participating currently. So it's a membership campaign in essence. And what better way to leave a legacy for ESA than to help ESA grow its membership and to help more people in the industry learn the value ESA brings to the table. The really exciting part of this campaign is, as a volunteer for the campaign, you earn credits, and those credits can gain you access to an incredible trip to the Dominican Republic later this year. So we're already in the planning stage. We have the resort picked out. Nice. In Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, and we're excited to hopefully bring 30 or more volunteers and their guests on an all-expense-paid trip to Punta Cana. So, if you're interested in volunteering for that, being a part of that campaign and celebrating our 75th anniversary, not only at ESX, but also on a trip to the Dominican Republic, we've got a spot for you, and we can get you signed up. And we definitely have ways for you to learn more about it as well.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love just the idea of gamifying the whole experience, making it, I don't know, just an incentive program. And I don't know, I'm excited to see these members get competitive with one another and see who comes out on top.
They are very competitive. We had a little kickoff call and for the members that have signed up so far, and it is fun to watch them banter with each other and see who's going to be on top of the leaderboard. Because let's face it, they're entrepreneurs, so they're very competitive by nature.
Exactly. Do you know where we can direct people to get involved in the membership campaign if they're interested in learning more or volunteering themselves?
Absolutely. There's a if you go to our website, esaweb.org, and just type in /membership-campaign, you'll see a landing page there that has all the information you need to know. And if you'd like one of our staff members to walk you through it, just reach out to our membership at esaweb.org. Drop them an email there, and they'll be happy to walk you through the campaign. Or call John Loud or myself. We'll be happy to share more information about it.
Awesome. So you mentioned the membership campaign being one of the ways that we plan on celebrating in the 75th year. You also did a little hint about ESX 2023. Is there anything special that we're going to be doing at ESX for the 75th year that you can mention? Yeah,
it's, we're going to be celebrating throughout the entire event. So we're going to basically take the social events that we already have in place at ESX, things like the opening celebration, the pub crawl, and our awards night, and we're going to amp those up to another level.
Okay.
In addition to that, we're going to have some really cool and exciting artifacts out on the show floor, scattered throughout the exhibit floor, so that you can kind of walk through memory lane a little bit and take a look at some of the past artifacts that Ralph Sevenar and Charlie Darch have been curating over the years and are so gracious in sharing with the entire industry at events like ESX. Specifically, though, for the opening celebration, I understand we're going to have a little karaoke contest. There's
Yeah.
going to be some fun around that event, and by the way, which is open to all attendees, whether you're exhibit only attendee or you paid the full pass. That opening celebration is an opportunity for you to come and celebrate our anniversary and enjoy the ESX experience.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see what kind of karaoke songs that some of our members pick out. It's going to be a fun time.
It will be, yeah.
Awesome.
And before we leave, the anniversary topic,
Yeah.
if anybody's interested, the actual date that ESA was incorporated was February 25th, 1948. So that actual anniversary date is coming up in next month.
Yeah, I know. And I think we're planning to do some special things on ESA's birthday. So I would encourage you all to follow ESA on social media if you aren't already, because we might be doing some special things that day.
Yep.
Awesome. So switching topics just a little bit, still kind of on the topic of 2023, though. What do you think are are some of the industry's biggest challenges? You've mentioned some of them when we were talking about trends, but I'm more hoping you can touch on ESA's role in addressing some of those challenges.
Yeah, and I did touch on it under trends, and workforce was kind of at the top of my list, and it's going to be at the top of this list as well in terms of challenges. Wage pressures. I mean, we're seeing through legislation, we're seeing minimum wage increase, and while you might be a business owner saying, well, I pay my folks more than minimum wage. Anytime minimum wage goes up, that puts pressure on existing wages to also go up. So we're going to see wage pressure increase. It's going to continue to be a challenge to recruit, retain your workforce. I mentioned the aging workforce and the retirement of those folks. That's going to continue to be a challenge. And so I see our biggest challenge as an industry is workforce, and we're competing with other industries that also have workforce challenges. So it's definitely going to be a continuation. I'm also seeing some interesting things some of our members are doing in terms of how to reduce truck rolls, and there's going to be some education sessions built around this for ESX, and it's pretty exciting to see some of the technology members are using to try to eliminate or avoid truck rolls. And one of those is the virtual world we live in now with Zoom and Teams and all the aspects of how we can meet a customer face to face without being with them in person. So I think those are just a little example of what you might pick up on at ESX in terms of our educational sessions and how we have members come together and share those best practices. As far as the challenge of workforce development and what ESA's role is, about a year and a half ago, we partnered with the Security Industry Association and launched a foundation called the Foundation for Advancing Security Talent, and the acronym is FAST, F-A-S-T. And the sole purpose of this foundation is for both organizations to work together to help to alleviate, reduce the challenges of workforce, and to provide tools and services to our respective members so that they can meet these challenges head on. And so we're excited about the future of that foundation and what it means to the industry. One of the roles that foundation will serve and provide for the industry is educating folks outside the industry of how you can join in this industry and have a great career.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we see people in our industry who might move from one employer to another, but it seems like it's so hard to leave the industry. Once you're in it, you're in it for life in some cases,
Yeah.
and folks really love having a career in this industry and advancing through their career and doing it all within the security industry. We also have actually slated for January 23rd. We just partnered with FAST and SIA and secured the National Security Technician Day. So from now on, every year on January 23rd, we're going to celebrate our workforce.
Yeah.
And in this case, specifically the security technicians who really are out in the field every day dealing with our customers and bringing those life safety and services and technology into reality by installing them, servicing them, maintaining them. So I think that's another step in that direction of beginning to really recognize those who are in the industry doing the hard work every day and installing those systems. So got more in the hopper. The whole foundation has its own strategic plan, and we're excited about where we've launched into a wage survey, wage and benefit survey that hopefully we'll be releasing those results sometime maybe Q2 of this year. So a lot of good things in the hopper to try to focus on that big challenge of workforce development. I think another challenging area is going to be the overabundance of legislation and regulation. So our advocacy team, Jake Bronger on our team, is in the throes of monitoring all 50 states and the legislative activity that's happening across our country, not just at the federal level, but also at the state level.
Right.
And we're seeing just a lot of legislation centered around employees, not just the increase of the minimum wage, but kind of we're seeing small businesses really backed into a corner when it comes to employees and what they're required to provide an employee. And in some cases, there's no definition of a small business. It could be, if you have one employee, you're required to provide 6 months of paid leave in the event that employee needs it. And those are difficult situations to put small business owners in, especially when they have a limited number of employees and resources available. So the overabundance of legislation, we're monitoring that, and hopefully we can impact that in a more positive way for our members as we launch into 2023 and beyond.
Awesome. All good stuff. I was going to say, your mention of the truck rolls topic, we actually have an article addressing potential solutions to reduce truck rolls in our upcoming January-February edition of Security Nation. So once that's released, I would keep my eye out and check out that article. It has some things there. And like you said, come to ESX, because I think we do plan on having some educational programming on that exact topic. And I don't know, I just wanted to mention that really quick because I'm pretty excited about it. And I think we can move on to the next question because I think we're running a little short on time. What would you say sets ESA apart from other industry trade associations?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it. As trade associations are typically not unique, but I think ours is to a certain extent.
Right.
And that's because of the people, the volunteers that we have, but it's really because of their mission and how their businesses are built to protect people and property, right? So it's not a traditional business in the sense what they're doing out with public and public safety and saving lives and property is an immense task, and one that is so honorable and one that they should be very proud of. So from ESA's perspective, to be that trade that trade association representing them is truly an honor. It really is.
And one question that I like to ask just about every episode is, what would you say to someone considering ESA membership? Maybe they've been on the fence. What would you say to them?
Yeah, it really boils down to just make the investment. It'll pay dividends. It really will. I would encourage you, whether you're a member, if you're an existing member and you're not engaged, get engaged. Even if it's in one program, because the savings you could potentially receive to your bottom line business will far pay for the dues that you're paying to belong to ESA. And if you're not a member, make the investment, get involved with a service or program, and I promise it'll pay dividends. I just saw a number coming out of our insurance program where we've saved over $800,000. We've saved members over $800,000 in 2022.
Yep.
It's just amazing to see that kind of number. And that's just one program that ESA provides.
Absolutely. I know we've been doing some research for our 2022 annual report, polling numbers like that, like savings, and it's pretty substantial. And you're right, it does pay dividends, and making that investment, I think you'll be happy you did if you just jump in.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Merlin, for coming on the podcast. I think that's everything that I wanted to go over with you, and I just appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you, listeners who tuned in today. Make sure to subscribe. We're on all podcasting platforms, and the full video version of our episodes are available on YouTube. And if you're curious about how ESA membership can power your business, please visit our website at esaweb.org and take some time to schedule a discovery call with our awesome membership team. You'll be happy you did, and make sure to have a great day, Security Pros.